All right, this is the second edition of the Lunch and Learn. I just want to welcome everybody that's here, and we are recording for the future benefits for other people to watch the replay. This topic today is going to be, what is AI chat? Why do I need it? And how can it help my business grow? So without going too deep into it, we all are exposed to AI and how AI is helping us on different softwares. So the platform that we have is geared, has those built in that we call that AI suggestive content, where you would have the AI help you if you're trying to format a blog post, or if you're trying to send a text message, or you're trying to do an email marketing campaign. All of that is becoming pretty standard. The one biggest piece that I find, and we all find now, the is that how to communicate to business owners that are behind the face of the website, right? So when we go to a website, it's a wall of information, and we just can look at it, and so here's our website, and the first thing that I always look for when I'm on a website is the little icon in that bottom right corner. So the thing that does is it allows me to communicate with the business on either one of the ways that we can communicate, either through chat directly through the website, we can communicate through text messaging, or we can communicate through email. But what the purpose of the widget is to capture a contact and then be able to engage with them as a lead in the system to nurture to become a customer. That's what we all want. We want leads, we want to nurture, and we want to convert to customers. So this is pretty standard in what you're probably used to. If somebody's going to fill out this form, and the way that this widget is set up is that it's going to want you want to put your information in first. Now, this is like a form, right? So there's apprehension on filling this out. So if I want to talk to somebody, I have to fill this out first. So I go, how can this help me? Or how can you help me? And then once you opt in here, then what you get immediately from this chat widget is a text message. So the text message that came just to my cell phone is asking me, hey, how can we help? What questions do you have? So that can go to people in your business, or it could go to the platform, and you could have that conversation on the software, or there's other ways to send an email and other ways to engage. Now, the biggest thing that we find, and in general, as we all are used to wanting immediate gratification, be able to communicate with people right away, is that we want answers. We don't want to wait. This isn't supposed to be just a form that I fill out and then I wait. So maybe it'll be a few minutes for a phone call, or maybe it'll be a little while for an email, or maybe it'll take a day for someone from the organization to call back. So what we want to do is have the conversation set up so that people are notified that you have the ability to communicate if you're available. So I could communicate directly to this person via text message. That's this SMS. It doesn't communicate via the chat widget here. And that's the sort of like a standard, or one way of how the text messages can be done, and pretty standard, right? What we're used to. Now there's a better way, what I would consider a more effective way. Oh, and by the way, we do have AI set up to jump in and have conversations via text message. So if I fill this out and I get the text message and someone on the business cannot respond quick enough, then the AI will jump in at some point and will start helping communicate. And in this case, it said, thanks for reaching out to Software. We're gonna, and then it starts to engage the person in conversation via text message. Okay, so that's just one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is on another website or page that we have set up. Is this widget actually will start to have conversations before you have to fill out the form. So in this day and age, we all are apprehensive to fill out forms because we know that we're probably going to get spammed, or something's going to happen, somebody's going to call you, and maybe we're on the page, but we just want answers. We don't want to give any of our information. So the way this is set up is it's built to engage before you have to opt in. So I'm going to ask a question here. How do you help me? And then the AI will initiate will start to engage in real time. So it's set to wait a few seconds. We set it up for 10 seconds or so to give it sort of a human experience it takes time for someone to answer me. And so the first answer the AI said is, I help by scheduling appointments so you can learn how our services can benefit your business. Interested in a free 20-minute consultation and review. So I'm not ready. I'm going to say no. I'd rather know more about Softwired. Now, this AI has been trained to have conversations that are to engage and try to book a call, or book an appointment. But in order to book an appointment, we're going to need somebody's name, email, phone number, et cetera, et cetera. So we're just going to wait for it to respond a little bit. So it takes a few seconds for it to think and do its thing, although the AI is pretty fast. And so it answered, one way that we help with providing articles and resources for developers. Maybe not the best answer, but it did get. Oh, and somebody's coming in here. I'm gonna take a quick pause and let Pam in. We have a latecomer, Pam. We're well into the lunch and learn, but you're here for the best part. So feel free to do a chat. There's a chat at the bottom of your screen that you can click on and and I'll try to monitor. I'm the only one running this webinar, so I've got a bunch of things to do. But the parts that we started with here, and I will have a replay of this webinar, is that we're talking about chat widgets on your website, the little icon at the bottom right corner, why it's there, what it does. There's a couple different things that we're used to. The old way is when we fill out the forms and we have to wait for somebody. The new way is that we actually have conversations with AI in real time. So so I am actually in a conversation with our AI that's trained on our business and all of the things that we do. It is trained to try to book a call or an appointment, and we have somebody else. Anna is joining us here. We're well into the lunch and learn, so if you want to watch the replay in the beginning, feel free. I'll send the link later, but in the meantime, we'll just continue on. So I'm communicating with the AI right now. I have the AI engaged, and so it is trying to get my, get contact information from the lead. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm interested. And again, this is not a human. This is an AI that is trained on all of our website content and all of our information, so that for all our clients that we do this for, that they're able to develop this chat widget and be able to have communication via the website. Sure, checkout software network. That's one website that we have, and then it's going to follow up with a free assessment, and I'm gonna say, okay, that sounds great. And honestly, every time I have these presentations, or every time I'm talking with our AI, it's interesting because it has different things that it's telling me. It's just having a different conversation. That it's not a program that I'm just constantly getting the same response. So the reply is awesome. Let's get you set up. When do you want to book your free assessment? So here I am. I'll say, how about tomorrow? So generating a lead from all the visitors that are coming to your website is much easier, because there's a sort of a runway or an experience. They're getting answers, and I'm more willing to give my contact information now that I have, a little bit more assurance that, okay, I might be talking to the right type of business or person. So the AI is going to try to book a call. It actually goes to a calendar and checks for previous events, and says, okay, these are the openings we have for tomorrow. And so I'm going to say, okay, let's say 10 a.m. And if we don't have any bugs or glitches, it should go ahead and ask me for my contact information to book the meeting. And we'll wait for it to respond. Maybe we need to turn it up a little bit. So we'll okay, perfect. Your name, email, and phone number, so we can confirm your appointment at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So Tony Sova, Tony at softwiredweb.com, and my phone number is this. And the next step is the AI bot will book my call with myself. So it'll just be me in the meeting, but be kind of boring. And then I, as the person, as the business owner, well, looks like we got a little bit of a glitch. Sometimes it happens, but anyway, it's probably because I'm myself and it's not working the way it would normally work for somebody else coming in. So that is the presentation for the AI, how we can set it up for your any website that you have, any kind of business. Usually all we just do is put a piece of code. It could be hosted somewhere else, and then we can start working on setting up the different automations and things that are needed. And then you build out the buyer journey sales process for anybody that's coming into your business. And that's how we get more customers and improve the operations of your business. So I'm going to go ahead and pause real quick here. Come on, stop sharing and go into regular meeting mode, and we'll take some questions, and we'll continue that way. So anybody have any questions right now? Feel free to come on screen if you have a camera, or just unmute and go ahead and ask away. I have Steve to everyone. So how can we help? Here's both line on chat box and via text. Steve, which Steve is this? Has a question. We have two Steves. I think it's Steve Bothrop. Yeah. Hey, Steve, come off mute and kind of ask your question and so I can understand a little better.
Well, initially I was asking when you were showing the chat up front, so the two people that added later didn't see it, I don't think.
Yeah.
Where you had the box up front and you were responding via text immediately. That's where I asked the question, like, are you conducting it concurrently both on screen, which is where the person is initially in the chat bot, or you're diverting them over to the text exclusively, or both? That was the first question. And then to kind of clarify, the AI intelligence, when you were talking about scenarios, a variety of scripts. So basically, obviously, there has to be information for the bot to respond to, like, what are your store hours, or something like that, obvious, simple. Okay, so you've got to have something programmed in to respond to, say, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, or whatever I'm just giving a very straightforward example.
Right.
So I was curious how the scripts, and for the benefit of the group, like, how are the scripts for the different scenarios of inquiry set up in a system?
Sure. It's a good question.
Yeah.
So what Steve's asking is what we're used to in the past are algorithms of scripts that software would reply the same sequence of answers based on a certain criteria of questions. The difference now is that the AI is an intelligence. So if you ask the same question, it's probably not going to give you the same answer every single time. Like, for example, how humans are, right? If I ask, what did you have for dinner last night? And then I might ask you again, you'll have a different answer depending on the day and a bunch of other criteria. So the way we train the AI is all of the information that you have online, that you have on your website. If you do have articles, anything that's related to your particular business itself. We don't want the AI to consume content that isn't related to your business, because then it'll start answering questions the wrong way. It'll start diving in the rabbit holes and things like that. So the critical factor here is that the AI is trained properly. Now, after we set up the AI to consume the information of your business through the website and other things that are directly related to your services or products, then what we do is it still needs some help on answering correctly. So in the trial, there's a trial period where we will say, yes, that was a good answer, or no, that's not a good answer. And that process takes time of people asking the basic questions. So there's a beta period. And then eventually, after a few weeks, or even, it could take months for us to get it. It's constantly learning and constantly being trained. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I, might get a little too technical, but I just want to make sure that you're following that. So the big difference is that it's not like what people are typically used to is like a computer program and responding to different prompts differently. It's actually an artificial intelligence that it will answer differently depending on different criteria, not the question that you're actually answering. And I think the other part of your question was, how are you communicating with the AI? So the first example that I did on our main website as on the agency side was, this is going to display a form, which is how a lot of them are set up, to have you give your contact information first and then engage. And this is configured once the phone number is put in to send a text message. So I'm actually communicating with the AI through my own text message. So those are the two different ways that these are configured. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Anybody else have a question? You can put it in the chat. You can come off. There's only 4 of us here, so we have a lot of leeway on questions or anything you might want to know about. Anybody have a question about AI in general? So Steve Felt says, so if someone asks for details on the chat, the AI can glean the information from my website. Absolutely correct. That's how we train the AI. We get the AI, it's called, what you probably have heard is AI prompts. But if you're using something like generic Chat GPT, you have in the first the first part of the last year when it came out, the AI was generic and it didn't answer questions very well, or it didn't communicate very well. And eventually, even ChatGPT made it so you could have your own AI, and then you could have that one trained, and then it started answering questions better. And so, so yeah, the first thing we would do is after we set everything up, we would just train the AI on your website content, or maybe you have associations, other association websites that are relevant to the questions that potential leads are going to ask. But we want to just make sure we don't give it the wrong information, because then we have to start over and train it the right way. That makes sense? Did I get? Hi, Steve.
Yeah, hi. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah. So on that, the questions that come in, if somebody wants to get technical, I'm a finance guy. So if somebody wants to get questions answered about what are interest rates or financing, something that's not on my website, will the AI then ask for an appointment?
The AI right now is trained how you want to train it. So, for example, ours is trained to want to try to book an appointment or get the contact information or whatever it is, to just get the contact in the system as a lead, right? So, and then the information, then all of the activity goes into the feed, and I can see, you know, that they started out as a guest on the chat widget, and then they opted in, and then we got the name and phone number and email, and then we basically took it. And if we have a salesperson to call them immediately, or whatever the next step is in however your sales process works. So AI agents, which are more along the lines of, I think, what you're talking about, are going to be more of like an employee. So they're going to be able to answer those more in-depth questions. They're going to be, and we literally just got that this week. We're at that stage where the technology is evolving so fast that we literally get stuff dropped into the software and our systems on almost like a weekly basis. So I think that the platform supports it. We just got the AI agents. Haven't figured out how to use them yet, honestly, and which we will. We like to be on the cutting edge here. We like to be really proactive, and because when we're using new technology for things like digital marketing and all those, you know, those efforts that you're doing, that's tremendous amount of work that to actually take somebody who doesn't even know about your business and become a customer. So that process is just becoming longer and longer, and more touch points, and it's got more complicated.
Hey, Tony, question. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. To clarify, when you were giving the example up front to fill in the form, and then immediately the person was notified via text, you know, that they're into the AI chat. If that is attached, for example, to my phone or whoever's designated within a company, is that person we'll just keep it to me. Am I being notified right away? And then I can go into a truly personal chat right away? I mean, is that part of the benefit, is that I could actually be interactive if I'm capturing that on the spot, or can call them right away? So the whole idea is that you're not missing the opportunity to have that conversation.
Absolutely. So there's an app called Lead Connector. And so instead of having the business text messages go from the chat widget to your personal text, it actually goes into an app that looks like your normal text messages. So if you can
Right.
kind of see that, it's probably going to blur. But
Right.
so it pops up as a notification on my phone. I can see immediately I can jump in. I don't have to let the AI keep talking, because sometimes it can kind of go down the wrong road. And what it does is it bridges the gap between the time somebody actually initiates an engaging conversation and gets a reply, right? That it's not a good experience, especially if you're in a highly competitive market and you have a lot of commodity type of businesses that are competing with you. And the speed to lead issue is really the game changer, because the faster you can get to that lead, the more likely they're going to be a prospect. Because what happens if they don't get an immediate response, they're going to go on to the next guy, and then they're going to go on to the next guy, and they're going to go on to the next guy, and it's just how it is. So keeping everything on real time automated that technology is available today, as long as everything's set up properly.
Thanks.
Yep. All right. Any other questions? We got two Steves here. Steve Felt, any last minute questions?
Yeah. So to follow up what he was asking, so when there's somebody in the chat, it's going to show up on my phone. I'm going to be able to follow the chat.
Yep. So you'll be able to have communication in the palm of your hand with the live chat on your website.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. We love technology.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing what's happening right now, and so that's our preference, is to just really stay on the cutting edge. And sometimes they call it the bleeding edge for a reason, because you bleed a little bit, but it is amazing stuff as long as everything's set up properly and you know what you're doing with the tool.
Right.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, I'll go ahead and conclude this lunch and learn. We're going to do these every Wednesday. Feel free to come back. You'll get notifications via email, and we'll continue on different topics. And I'll start asking other people in the communities if they have specific topics. Haven't picked up next week's topic yet, but we'll make sure that you get notified in advance, and you know what we're going to be talking about. So have a great day. Let's go let's go eat our lunch and have a great time, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.